Good evening. Welcome back to Mind Your Business. And I'm Tanika Steens. Thank you for joining me again tonight. If you don't catch the live, then you'll be able to see it again on the replay on the website, yourfullmindlife.com. Tonight, my guest is Jeremiah Reed. He is a husband and a father of three and a business owner of Mental Wealth LLC. He recently published a book titled Mental Wealth, where he discusses the 5 mindsets you need to have to win with money. So thank you for allowing us this opportunity to come into your lives tonight and talk about mental wealth. Hopefully you get a pen and paper and write down some information so that you can get you some good resources to know how to build on your mental wealth. And we will now introduce Mr. Jeremiah Reed. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you doing? Thank you
I'm
so
good.
much.
How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. I look forward just to chopping up with you and having an organic conversation around a topic I call mental wealth. Just to introduce myself to the group, to the viewers who are watching. Again, my name is Jeremiah Reed. I recently wrote a book titled Mental Wealth. And basically, once I wrote the book, I decided that the story in the book needed to be a little bit larger. It was more people that I needed to impact with my story. And that's what led to me creating my own company, which is a financial coaching business called Mental Wealth LLC. A little bit about the book. Me and my wife, we paid off $210,000 worth of debt. And that really led to this journey that we call mental wealth. We both were college educated, graduated from IU down in Bloomington, Indiana. And we thought we knew everything. We thought we had the answer. We were living check to check. We had the nice cars, the new iPhones, but in reality, we were really broke. And it took a mindset switch for us to realize that. And that's what really led us to continue to push our financial journey to the next level and pay off that debt and start living the life that God created for us.
All right. So on that journey, because I know like when you start out, it's so funny. We all think that we're getting ready to go and jump in head first and everything is going to just work out the way we planned it. And so when you first struck out, did you have a plan in place at that time or did your plan come in place later on?
No, definitely. We had a plan, or we thought we had a plan. So when we first got married, we were just like two lovebirds. Oh, we want to travel. We want to do this. We want to do that. Immediately, we got two brand new cars. We even financed our bed. We got like a brand new memory foam bed. That was so funny. I put that in my book. I was literally sleeping in debt because we financed it. But our plan didn't work because what we realized is our money attention level was very poor, and it led to a lot of stress. And most people know financial issues can cause a divorce. And for us, it exposed some things that really we wasn't prepared for, especially in our first year of marriage. So it led us following Dave Ramsey. That was the first part of our plan. And that wasn't for us. I respect them a lot. But my wife was in a major car accident and we got sued for like $26,000. And that $1,000 emergency fund number was clearly not enough. And we had to kind of hit reset. And at that moment, I had a decision to make. Was it to continue to go forward with the Dave Ramsey plan or figure out what am I going to do to help my family get out this situation? And God put on my heart the 5 healthy mindsets to win with money.
All right. Well, we don't want to talk about that just yet because you done opened up a juicy can of worms of all kind of stuff to talk about. So let's just take it a little bit at a time. We got enough time to get there. So,
Gotcha.
you know, my husband and I are in ministry, and one part of our ministry is reconciliation. And a lot of times we've seen so many people, we've been married for 20 years now. And
Congratulations.
when we got married, thank you, when we got married, there was a few people that got married. Some of those people are still together. Some of those people are not together. Some didn't even last a month, let alone 20 years. And there's always going to be something that comes up. And so the first part of it is when you're a brand new couple and you are just like, yeah, we love each other and everything is so great. I always break it down in 6 month increments. The first 6 months you meet somebody, you're just so happy you like them a lot. The next 6 months, you know that person, and now you're starting to see other sides of them. But eventually, y'all can work that out. The next 6 months, now you probably done had an argument or two because you're starting to learn each other, or depending on when you get married, how that works out. But what happens is we start seeing different aspects of things that you come into it one way thinking one way, they come into it another way thinking one way, and then you come together with all these great ideas and let's do this, and you agree with things that are fun, like buying new cars. That's a fun thing to do. Let's buy a new mattress because the advertising will be like, finance it, you won't even know that it's missing out of your pocket, but like you said, you're sleeping in debt, and before you know it, all these things start to add up and it starts to snowball out of control. And if you are newly married and only a year into that marriage, that can definitely tear you apart. And so, being young and being married and having a plan and the plan doesn't work, a lot of times people break up and move on. But you guys decided to hang in there and to do something different to make sure that you could actually move forward together. So I commend you for that. That right there is a whole nother book you need to write, just to teach people when you're going through something, you got to stay the course, because we didn't get to 20 years overnight. You know what I'm saying? And people are like, you guys are so happy and
Definitely.
everything is so, yeah, but it was work. And so, from a year being into something to 20 years being into something, there's going to be a lot more things to come. But it looks like you're setting yourself up for a good place to be, because you early on you've dealt with some things that could have put you in a situation that could have devastated your whole lives. So with that being said, what happened first? You said your wife was in a car accident. What happened to lead to that accident? And then how did you guys recover from that? Is that what is initially started you to start cleaning your finances up, or were you already doing that before and then you had to revamp some things?
So the very first thing that, before the car accident, because the car accident to me was like a a test to our true faith. But before that, I was playing basketball in Gary, Indiana, in 2016. So me and my wife got married in 2014. Our plan wasn't working for the first year of our marriage. It was pretty rough. And then we started doing the Dave Ramsey thing in like the middle of 2015. And I broke my arm playing basketball. I shattered my elbow. And I was in the hospital in Gary. They couldn't fix it. I had to come to Indy, and it was only like one doctor. He was the doctor for the Pacers and the Colts, and it was a $70,000 surgery. Um, and then
Come on. Hang on. Hang on. I'm going to try to get them back.
okay,
Okay. There you go.
all right, cool. But yeah, I didn't only had $1,000, no short term disability. I just shattered my arm. I had a severe like rehab. My arm wasn't moving, so they fixed my arm. They put a metal. I had like a metal elbow, but it wasn't moving. So I was in rehab for like longer than what I was supposed to. My insurance ran out. But it was a blessing because the lady who was my occupation therapist continued the rehab with no charge. Like she just kept working with
See.
me. So that was blessing number one. And then blessing number two, my boss was like, hey, if you can get somebody to drive you around, because I was a district manager at that time, if you can drive around to at least 2 stores a day, that'd be fine with me. So another district manager picked me up for work every day and brought me home and did
Wow.
work for me pretty much. Um, so that was another blessing. And God moved in that situation, but I knew it was a bad example for me as a steward to live on that much of grace. Like I thank God for grace, but He also gave me some wisdom, and I knew I couldn't be like that again. So in that moment, I was addicted to Jordans. I began to sell them because I know we needed the money. Um, Even though I wasn't, I was working, but my wife was working part time, trying to help me out, um, help with the kids because we had a daughter at that point. So I was like, just so much going on. And once I got out of that season, I got really serious. And then right after that was over with, that winter, That's when the accident happened. So it's like two things back to back. And the trials came, but we overcame them together. First it was me, then it was her, and we haven't looked back since.
Amen. Amen. So now let's get to the part of you are now starting to, what did you start with your credit? How did you initially start to build the wealth to pay off the debt?
Yes, so I had a lot of material things, so I started selling a lot of my stuff that I had. That got me a little bit of breathing room. Then I got another job, so I was doing Lyft and Uber at the same time. So I would work, get off work, check in with the family for an hour, go back to work, and then make some money, come back late at night, go to sleep, wake up. So really in grind mode. My wife got a job at the car wash, but I was like, I don't want you working two jobs. I'd rather work three jobs. Just, take care of the kids. And and then also too, I had got another blessing. I was doing some like side work, helping people with some investments. And then if they made some money, they would give me some money just for helping them out. So the money thing was just coming in. So it was just about discipline and consistency. And then on my regular job, I got promoted twice. So that helped. I got two raises back to back. Things start falling into place when I started doing what I was supposed to do.
Yeah. So you said one thing that's very important, obedience. You have to
Yeah,
be obedient and you have to be disciplined. And when you get to the point when you realize what's important, like Jordans are important when there's no responsibility to go with it.
yeah,
But now it's like it's you see what it's really worth. And so giving up those things, how much have you gained?
yeah. So it was interesting. So I had a ton of shoes, maybe about 100 pair of shoes. Um, and I realized in me giving up my shoes, my identity was kind of tied to some insecurities that I had when I was
Mm,
little because I didn't grow up with much. I always wanted nice things, but my mom couldn't do it. So I realized that my attachment to those shoes had some of that insecurity with it. And so it was root, and that goes to kind of mindset thing that I wrote. I was able not only make a financial gain, but I had a mental gain as well. And that mental confidence helped me in every area of my life, just not financially.
hmm. So did you take classes? Did you get a coach? What did you do to now come to the point of getting your mind in the right place to be able to do what you needed to do?
So the first thing I did, I met with a financial advisor, and he pretty much showed me my net worth, and it was something crazy. It might have been like negative 100,000 or something. It was terrible. And I knew that moment, like, okay, this is all I needed. Um, I graduated like number one in my high school class. I was valedictorian. So I understood numbers. Like I understood how to move in the right direction. And then when I sat down, I seen that number and I had a conversation with my wife and we prayed together on what the next 10 years would look like for us. God just downloaded everything that I needed to do. And from that point on, it was me articulating the vision to my wife, writing it down, making it plain, looking at it daily, saying affirmations that we were more than overcomers in this debt situation, that debt was not going to define the way that we live and how generous we are to other people. Just saying those things constantly. And I began to use my talents that I'll use for other people. I was a business manager. I ran multiple stores, $1 million stores. So I said, why don't I run my own household like that? So that's when I started really just looking at my personal life and my family life as a business. So we started coming up with annual budgets. We looked at different areas we were spending and things just start coming together. And it was like, wow, this is not as hard as we made it seem in the first couple of years of our marriage. We can really do this.
Yeah. You know, you have hit on some things that they need to teach in school that they're not going to. But what you just said is anything that is successful is because of how it's ran and because of the order. And my husband says that all the time. He was like, if you run things like a business, no matter what it is, and you have the right things in place, it's going to always be successful when you do what's supposed to be done and when you're obedient. And so I commend you for staying the course, for being disciplined and for taking what, because see, we go and we work and we pour our life and our energy into making other people prospects and giving them money, but we don't get any of that back, and it's so funny because we will go and we will work hard and we will get a maybe a pat on the back, but we don't really get to see that return because you're away from your family. You don't get to do day-to-day things that you like with your children, even dropping them off at school. But when you looked at, okay, if I can go and be successful for this company and I can do all of those things for this company, how much more can I do for my own family? And then your wife was on board. So that you got to have a good team.
Mm-hmm.
When you hire somebody for a business, you don't just hire anybody. You hire the best people for the job. And so your wife, number one partner, your children, they have to be a part of that as well. And so you guys have a team that you cultivated right in your own home, and that right there says what needs to happen to be able to be successful. And so you laid it out there.
Yeah, it was just definitely my wife. The way she grasped onto the vision and understood her role and did everything that she had to do was really an inspiration and a fuel for me. Because I didn't want her to be as hands on, like accumulating money towards things. I just wanted her to be like a home manager because that's the support I needed. Um, and I'll take on the rest of the work. And she believed in it, supported me, and was there for me, and we made it.
There you go. I mean, again, that's what builds a successful business. But first, before a business can be successful, the relationships have
Yes.
to be successful. Understanding how to communicate, understanding how to work together, knowing what your role is. Those are very important things. And a marriage is a business in itself. People don't even get that. I say a ministry, but a ministry is a business too. No matter how you
Mhm.
look at it, if you're serving someone, it's a business and you should do it well. Do it like you're working for the Lord in all that you do. And so it's just inspiring to hear you at such a young age, you and your wife starting out, hitting a road that didn't seem like it was going to be good. It was rough, but now look at the outcome. So now let's get to these five mindsets. Let's get to this part of it so we can learn what those five things are, so that maybe somebody can take something away from this and start getting their life straight and getting their things together and reconcile their marriage to where they can be a team.
Oh no, definitely. So the first mindset is purpose. This is a word that often everyone uses, um, but when you use it in a financial perspective, I want you to think about what is your financial journey going to be? What is your legacy going to be? How does God want you to steward your time, your talent, and your treasure to edify His kingdom? And so when we sat down as a family, me and my wife, we wrote down like our purpose statement. This is what we looked at on the days that we wanted to give up or when we got weak. And so when I'm working with my clients now, I walk them through um, how to get to that purpose. Um, so we kind of talk about what are your values of money? Where did you get that from? Were you taught about money when you were younger? Do you agree or disagree with that now since you're older? Um, and then I talk about those emotions, like how do you feel when you broke, or how do you feel when you don't get something that you thought you deserved? All those things into your mind and what you think about and how you view money. Because the biggest thing I want people to understand, and what I had to understand, is money doesn't have a personality, doesn't have a character, it has no feelings, no anything. Your money is a reflection of you and your priorities. So if you don't have money, that's because something is out of order in your life. If your money, you feel like you're selfish or whatever, that's a reflection of you. So you have to deal with you and understand your true purpose. And then the money part will easily flow next. So we dug down, we wrote that purpose statement, and we put it on our refrigerator. And I'll put it on my phone just so I can see it every day as a reminder. And then the next P was coming up with a plan. So this is the part where you have to understand your numbers. Understand what's your goals. Is it 3 years? Is it 5 years? What are you reaching for? And then work backwards. So we casted the number. We wanted to get it done in 5 years, and we got it done in 4 years and 10 months. So it was like right on the money on what we planned. And once we came up with like annual numbers, we got the strength to tell people no, because that's a big part of the plan. We both come from big families. She came from an affluent family. Mine wasn't so much. So people had certain expectations for me since I went to college. They thought they could borrow money from me, or I was the one that made it, out the hood or whatever. So just dealing with that and incorporating that into the plan. What does gift look like? What are vacations going to look like for us? What is fun going to look like for us? And making sure we plan those things in. Because one of the things with the Dave Ramsey plan that was tough for us, we just got so beat up by it, and we were uninspired to continue it, especially when life hit. So we said, okay, in our plan, if we hit this goal, if we paid this off, we're going to celebrate with a trip to Cooper's Hawk or something like that. We put fun in our plan. It's very important and intentional. And then we made sure everything that we set was attainable. We didn't want to shoot too far ahead where we don't get there and then we let ourselves down. And psychologically, that defeat could lead to depression or anxiety. So we made sure our goals was really attainable. And sometimes we used to say, hey, if we want to do something in 12 months, I'm like, let's give ourselves some grace. Let's cut it in half, or so make it 18. So divide it and then add 6 months to it just to make sure we get enough grace to hit the goal. So we did things like that. So planning was a big mindset shift. We really started to think like a business. Like you said, who's going to do this part? What's this person's role? We really got into business mode when it came to making a plan. Then the third is people. People will make you. On your financial journey, you need some supporters. You need some people to hold you accountable. You might even need some haters to give you motivation to prove them wrong. But you need some people in certain areas. And we had to figure out who in our circle could we count on in those different buckets. So we had to look at our friends, our family, and our foes. And we had to identify that, because what we made the mistake with is trying to keep up, with certain friends, and just because they got a brand new car, we might want to get a brand new car. Those are the mindsets we had in the beginning of the marriage, and that influenced us in the wrong way. We were weak minded. So now that we begin to work on our mind, we begin to put people in certain categories. Hey, we love Pierre. Pierre is a good friend, but Pierre like to ball out. So if Pierre talking about hanging with him at some bar, we can't go with him because we know what that's going to lead to. So we might need to tell Pierre, let's hang out at our house. You can go out by yourself. We would love to see you. You better be at our house. Just decisions like that we had to make, and cutting off some people as well. Again, that was a tough one because some of them was family. And we just simply had to tell the family members, no, we can't do it at this time. We're choosing to prioritize our family and our legacy. We got a mess to clean up. We used to tell people, we made a mess, we got to clean it up. And right now, we can't do anything else. So that was a big mindset. And then persistence, having that mindset of not giving up, continuing to fight. It's kind of like that dog inside of you. Just staying hungry towards towards your purpose and your vision, because it will be tested. It will be times when you fail, but you have to get back up. You have to keep going. You have to persevere, and that takes. My wife had a miscarriage, two of them in a row, and it was really tough because we were like, we're doing this to get there, but we didn't know that she was. I had to remind her who she was, and God, her faith, and what the purpose was. We said we're going to do this family, keep family. So not just me and you, but kids to come. So we stick to the plan. The kids will come. Our son Noah was born, like our rainbow baby. And then we just had a son named Uel, as well. So now we got 3 kids. We got a family of 5, and I seen the vision that we casted come alive. Um, so from 2014 to 2020, I seen everything that we prayed about come alive. But we had to stick to it, though. We couldn't give up. Um, so that was very important. And the last mindset is prayer. I'm a big fan of gratitude. Whenever you are focused on what you're thankful for, you spend less energy, less thinking and stress about what you don't have. And so me and my wife, we used to write down and we used to say, hey, tell me three things you're grateful for before you go to bed. I know today was rough, but tell me something that you were thankful for, just to keep our mind and our heart on the line of Thanksgiving. And that really just kept us humble. And even when we crossed over that finish line, um, the humility we built during the journey sticks with us today.
Yeah.
And those are the mindsets.
Amen. Well, that doesn't sound like a lot. It doesn't sound hard at all, right?
No,
What's the biggest thing to complete this? What's the hardest thing to do those 5 mindsets? Because it don't sound hard. So what's got to happen to make it happen?
is really one, picking a purpose strong enough for you to endure anyhow. Because a lot of people say, I know my purpose, I'll write it down, but as soon as it's tested, they give up. So really
Hmm.
having a strong enough purpose that you can hold on to come hell or high water. Like that's how
Yeah.
strong the purpose got to be. And then once you get the purpose, really the next hardest thing is just being persistent and being consistent with it as life goes on. Because whenever you got a 3 year plan, a 4 year plan, a 5 year plan, it's tough to do and be consistent, discipline month after month after month after month. And really, those two things hold everything else together.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's so funny you mentioned gratitude. And today, because I do mindfulness every Monday,
Mhm.
but I'm doing a 28-day mindfulness challenge right now. Today was day 17, and today was cultivating gratitude. So I always know when you're in a line because God will give you opportunities to be able to see that you're on the right path and on the right journey. So this morning I started out at 8 o'clock this morning. Well, actually 7. I started out talking about gratitude. And so you're my last live for tonight, and you ended on gratitude. And so I believe wholeheartedly, no matter what you have or don't have, as long as you are grateful for what you do have, everything else will fall in place. Because when you show that you have a grateful heart and you are mindful of those things, then God will bless you with more. But if you complain about what you don't have and you always look at everything is bad and nothing's going to go my way, then it probably isn't. But you stay the course. You buckle down, you cut some people off, you invite people that can help, and then you write that plan down and you run with it. And I mean, you guys are doing a fabulous job, and that is amazing. And so you have 3 boys,
We got one girl and two boys.
one girl and 2 boys. Okay, so I mean, God has blessed you immensely with the family, with the business, with the children. And I know that it's going to be abundance more coming your way because of what you're doing. And a lot of times people don't like to associate God and money. They
Hmm.
for some oddball reason, when I was growing up, if you were in church, it was like you should be poor because God is going to look out for you if you're poor. And as I got older, I started being like, who taught you that? This
Yeah,
isn't what I'm getting from what I'm reading. God wants you to prosper and he
right.
wants you to have an abundance, because how can you help anyone if you can't even help yourself? And if you're so downtrodden, if everybody's downtrodden, nobody can lift nobody up. So be blessed in that time and have joy in that spirit, knowing that God wants you to have these things, but there is a way to have these things. And I always tell people, I'm like, whatever you look into, you can always relate it back to the Bible. Anything that is worthy of anything is going to be linked to that Bible, and it's going to be linked to the Word of God. Everything that you said, I don't care if you call your household a business, that's what it is. God, the first thing He gave man was work, right? He gave him
Hmm.
work, and then He gave him a partner. And then even when they had to go outside the garden, he still gave them shelter and protection. Now he gave them children to help them cultivate the field. I mean, so when I
Yeah,
think about families, I tell my children, I said, we have children so we can keep the business going. You got to be a part of this business. And I think that we have poor legacies because we don't understand that. And because our grandparents weren't taught those things and they had one way of thinking, but now we are in a new technology age. We're in a new age of being able to be more aware of what's going on around us, being able to get more knowledge and to seek that knowledge that's right at our fingertips. And so, right now during COVID, whatever is going on, this is a time for people to buckle down
Mm-hmm.
and get it together. And I believe that you have what they're looking for. Help them to get in touch with you. Tell them what they need to know so that they can reach out to you and to work with you, so that way you can help them to get out of that rut, whatever they're in, to get to another place.
Yeah, thank you. So it's very simple. You can go to jeremiahreed.com, which is just my name, JeremiahReed.com. There you can find information regarding the book. You can book a session for coaching for me as well. Um, God has given me some fresh vision. So for November and December, I'm going to be taking some time off, and I'm working on two new programs I'm going to launch in 2021. So look forward to Mental Wealth Accountability, which is going to
Okay.
be a support and accountability group. It's going to be $25 a month. It's going to be a great opportunity just for those people who lack the support and encouragement from those close to them. Because I noticed one thing, me talking to multiple clients, sometimes people don't have anyone. And it's really sad because we're built for community. But through technology and everything else in the world, we become more isolated. And so these are smart individuals, so they don't need me to do everything for them. All they need is some support
Mm-hmm.
and some encouragement. So I created a program that was inspired by my wife, and then we're creating another group called the Mental Wealth Legacy Program. And this is one where we go through um, just overall financial planning. What does it look like to set your kids up and give you an inheritance to pass on to your children's children's children? So we go from everything from retirement, from college funds, understanding index funds, mutual funds, stocks, how to read portfolios, like really everything that I learned in business, I'm pouring out. So in common language for people to understand. I'm an avid reader. I know some people don't like to read. I encourage them to read. Um, and so we've been going through certain books that I read, pulling out nuggets. I know some people might not have the time to put in 5 or 6 hours in a book, but hopefully through just talking about it, a certain book, you can learn something. So that's going to be part of the group. And then it's going to be a private, like text message platform where I'll give certain hits and things like that when I notice certain things in the market I want to make people aware about. So look forward for those two things I'll be adding in to the Mental Wealth Academy. But it's really just going to be a blessing. Uh, I spoke to a lady today. She called me a single mom, trying to do what's right for her 3-year-old daughter. And she's like, hey, I really want to get the ball rolling. I want to start a fund for my daughter, Noriel. And I was like, sure, tell me a little bit about what you want the fund to do. And so she opened up a custodial account for her daughter that she'll get be putting money into. So when she turns 18, she'll have some money that she can decide to get a car, use it for school, maybe use it for prom or whatever she will like. But something
Okay.
that she didn't have when she was younger, now she wants to pay it forward and have it for her daughter. And that's what mental wealth is about. We're really mindsets so you can change your actual behavior and how you handle money.
Absolutely. So, and that is done through your company.
Yep.
Okay. So, see, we don't even understand what we're dealing with here. We got brothers that have financial wealth companies that are doing things out here, right? From Indiana, Gary, Indiana. You know, God don't make no junk. He ain't made nothing he got to throw away. He might get rid of it or destroy it, but best believe he going to bring it back better and bigger and newer. And so take heed right now to what you learned today. This information, these 5 principles that you can live by, these 5 mindsets that aren't hard at all. Get you a purpose, have you a plan, get you around the right people.
Yeah.
Those 3 things right there in of itself, get started there.
Yeah.
Get started there, because when you get started there, the next 2 things are going to fall in line. So reach out to Jeremiah if you are in a situation where you would like to learn more about mental wealth. If you would like to have an accountability partner, I think it would be great. I think everybody needs an accountability partner. And so, especially someone that can help you financially, check him out because this young brother is really doing some major things. Him and his wife, they are going to be making some major moves. And so, why not get behind somebody, support the businesses, support what they're doing? Because the more that they can pour out, the more others are going to be able to pour out. And so, whatever you can get from somebody, get it. But then remember to always give back because you never know what somebody can gain from you. And so, Jeremiah, I thank you for taking the time out tonight to be with us on this show. I thank your wife for giving us time to be able to talk to you and to be able to know a little bit about what you do and your background and your family. And so, I just wish you much success and everything that's going on in this world right now. You are at the right place at the right time. People can learn from you. So I definitely want to get your book. So stay on when we get off of here so I can talk to you a little bit more about that. And then I can also put a link to my website so that way if anyone wants to get some more information or whatever, they can, and they'll have a way to be able to reach out to you. Remember, you can always catch this video live every day, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We have live streams at 3, 6, and 9. Next month, we will be doing a marriage and ministry session, one married couple a week on Wednesdays from 6 to 7. And so just join in if you have a talent, if you have a resource, if you have a business, if you just have a story that you would like to have your voice heard, give us a call, give us a contact, do whatever you need to do to reach out to us so that we can get you on here so somebody can hear your voice. God bless you, and remember, you were created with a purpose.
Thank you.
Thank you.